What's up, marketers? It's been a few weeks since we last sat down to chat, so I want to have a casual episode all about Facebook and Instagram ads creative with a twist. Today, I'm actually going to be analyzing some ads that have showed up in my personal feed, and I'm going to talk about what I think makes them effective or not effective, and of course, what they could be doing better. So it's my belief you are not a true marketer unless you have hundreds, maybe thousands of screenshots and screen recordings of ads that show up in your personal feed. So be sure to comment the last brand that you screenshotted, because I think that'd be a really cool experiment to see who's all advertising us. So first, before we dive into the brands that I'm going to be tearing down, I first want to talk about what I think makes a good ad. Number one, we're looking for mobile first format. So it's either going to be a 4x5 or a 9x16. And if you think about this, the reason why these are preferred ad formats as opposed to the 1x1, which is most common on Instagram, is because it literally takes up more real estate in the feed. So another thing that makes a good ad is that it's being designed for the sound off. Now, I actually go back and forth with this one a little bit because I have seen that more and more people are starting to browse with sound on. But as a rule of thumb, I do like to include either text overlay or subtitles on all of my video ad creatives. This is at least something I'm always testing. Additionally, good video ad creative always has a compelling hook. So the first 3 seconds of your video should be thumb stopping. And what this actually is going to be different for every single brand. But some ways I've seen this done well is by having a quick movement at the very beginning of the video, having an awkward angle, or even having someone talking directly into the camera with eye contact. And I would say this is probably the most important thing that you should be testing and iterating on in your ad creative. I would say that every time that I'm testing a new video, I make sure to at least test 3 different hooks right out of the gate. Additionally, the best ads feel really organic. They feel like a native experience. They feel like something that your friends would post on social media. If you've ever watched this channel before, you know what a huge fan I am of UGC, or user-generated content. And this is still the best type of content I'm seeing performance from in 2021. Additionally, the best ads are normally always fast-paced, and they have a compelling CTA or call to action at the end, or even an end card. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the brands that have been advertising to me on Instagram and Facebook. So first up is Have It Skin, and I actually wasn't super surprised that I got targeted by this ad because I recently started working with a new skincare brand, so I've been doing a lot of research, and Have It Skin was definitely one that I checked out. So I imagine this was actually a retargeting ad for me. Now, this ad to me has most of the criteria of a good ad. The hook was super solid for me particularly because when I first saw this ad, 2 things stuck out to me. Number 1 was that white cast from the sunscreen. And number 2, she was really rubbing that sunscreen deep into her face. So if you are a skincare junkie or a skincare addict like myself, that would have been irritating to you to watch. Which is actually one of my biggest tips. If you know something is irritating to your customers, or there's something that would stick out and bother them, try using that as a hook. I know that Magic Spoon recently did a video where they poured the milk first instead of the cereal, and I really wish that they would have used that as a hook, because I know that a lot of people would have been like, what the hell is going on? And sorry about my dog, he's an asshole. Additionally, this video felt super native. Not native to Instagram or Facebook, but native to TikTok, which is actually a tactic I'm super into right now, which is actually just polling TikToks and running them on Facebook or Instagram ads. Again, the format here, 9x16, solid. And it was definitely designed for the sound off with all the text overlay. So awesome job there, Have It Skin. There were 2 things though about this video that I think could be improved, and if they wanted to test an additional iteration with these changes, I think they would find more efficient performance from it. And what it is number 1, the pacing is a little slow. So I found that there was like a lot of gaps actually in between the different clips. So if they wanted to trim that down and have a little bit quicker pacing, I think that more people would actually watch through the entire video. And then finally, there wasn't really a CTA or an end card or really any direction to give the viewer. So what I would do is I would make those edits to this video, run a test for that, and see if it performed better than this version. Now, next up is actually an image from Gather. Now, I've never actually heard of this brand, but I was really excited to see this ad show up in my feed because this style of ad is actually something that I've seen really good performance from for a few of the brands that we're currently working with at Thesis. We've actually tested a few Instagram stories style style images that have that text overlay, and the performance has been really good. And what I liked particularly about the Gather ad was this. Number one, I knew immediately what this product was. It's an easy to clean blanket for the outdoors that you can keep in your car. Now, I know we just went through a big list of criteria of what the best ad looks like, and a lot of those were specifically for videos, but this is also an example of a really effective ad. And the cool thing about this is that it's really easy to make, and there are endless variants that you could try of this. You could try different images, you could try shorter videos, or even GIFs, and then of course you could try different text overlay and different copy. So there's a lot to test here. But if you have not tested something like this for your brand, run, don't walk. Next up, I also got targeted by an ad from Parade earlier this week. Now, I have heard of this brand. I've definitely been to the website within the last 6 months, and I'm like sort of on the verge of making a purchase, but I just haven't quite got there yet. Now, this one showed up while I was browsing stories, but I actually think that it's a carousel, but to be honest, I'm not really sure. And because of that and a few other problems I had with the ad, I actually went to their ads library to check out and see if I could actually find that specific ad, but I couldn't. Now, the things that I didn't like about this is, number one, I thought the hook was pretty weak. I did like the design of the underwear, and that was the first thing that I saw when I was targeted with this ad. However, I thought the second soft skin messaging was kind of weak, and I also thought the dot whack that showed the offer, the 25% offer, was way too small, and I honestly didn't even see it the first time I looked at this ad. Interestingly enough, I think the most compelling thing about this ad is the testimonial, which is not actually the first thing that you're seeing with this ad. And I also wonder if the reason why I thought the testimonial was super impactful is because I was actually just sort of surprised they were calling out other brands. Could be risky. But ultimately, this ad was a lose for me because it wasn't native, there was no UGC, and the messaging was kind of off. It also lacked a CTA. And this is what I see with a lot of like really branded, really polished content. It looks good in theory, but it doesn't perform well. And I highly doubt this ad is performing well. But if you work at Parade, call me. Would love to discuss. Next up is a brand that I've never heard of, We Are Numi. Now, this is a really interesting one because I actually think it is a super strong ad, even though it is like that branded, polished content, like the Parade ad that I just tore down. And while I do think that if this specific ad was made with UGC content, it would perform better, I think it hits the mark almost everywhere else, even if the formatting is clearly not for stories. And here's why. The hook is super solid. Like, the first thing I saw were those sweat stains, and I was like, ugh, been there. The rest of the video was also super fast paced, like changing each clip almost every 2 seconds. And the offer was pretty solid as well. But the thing that really makes this ad a winner for me is the text overlay, specifically the messaging. This messaging clearly frames the product, the problem they're solving, and how they're the go-to solution. And they also dive deep into what other benefits there are to gain from this product, like doing less laundry. My suggestion to We Are Numi is to take this ad and overlay that awesome messaging and text overlay on top of UGC content. Also do a 4x5 or a 9x16 format, please. Next up is a brand that I think I've heard of before, but I'm not really sure. I've definitely seen a product like this before, and it's Boy USA, or at least that's how I think you say it. Now, initially, I really like this ad because it doesn't look like an ad at all to me. This is super gritty UGC, and to be honest, a lot of times I see this working really well on my accounts. No subtitles, no text overlay, not very fast-paced, and a little bit of voiceover. Oftentimes this works. With that said, I did actually go to their ads library to see if they were running a version with subtitles or text overlay, and they weren't. I found this one that was kind of similar, but not exactly. And I did think that this one was stronger. Maybe they already tested this and found that this one was the winner, which would be awesome. But if they didn't, this would be a really great opportunity to test some messaging and other design elements to actually gather learnings that they can apply to future ads. The things that I would specifically test here are text overlay, subtitles for the voiceover, and different hooks, like showing the product uncomfortably up close, throwing it against the wall, or showing it in action first. Now, next up is another brand that I had never heard of before, which is IncoWorld. Now, I like everything about this ad except one thing. If you can guess what it is, leave a comment below. This ad is super fast-paced. It is a compilation of UGC content. The product is fairly obvious what it is, and it does have text overlay. However, I think the actual messaging in the text is just super weak. It has hooked potential, but there's nothing in the subsequent content in the rest of the video that actually tells me why this product is a lifesaver. Essentially, this product to me is like glorified Tupperware. And while I do think I am actually the right target market for this product, I have no idea why this product is special. Is it super light? Is it super packable? Is it easy to clean? Is it made from some crazy Moonstone product? I have no idea. And all of these questions just make me think that this is probably just some bullshit from Alibaba, and I'd be better off just buying it at Target or Walmart. Sorry, Inca World, I feel like that was kind of harsh. Next up is Frank & Oak. Now, this is a brand that I know has previously targeted me on Instagram, so that's definitely how I've heard of this brand, but I couldn't tell you what product or what influencers they work with, so I wouldn't say that I'm very deep in the funnel. Now, I was immediately attracted to this ad because, again, it looks like something that an influencer would post. Of course, it has like the hashtag ad right there, and I definitely think I'm the right target market since I love fashion and I love clothes. I will say that after I watched this ad for a few seconds, I sort of wish that they clipped out of this first segment a little quicker. And because of that, I decided to go to their ads library and see if they were doing any split tests with this particular asset. And what was really cool is they actually were. They were running the exact same asset without the text overlay, which is a really good test to run for this type of asset. Another test I wish they would run with this particular asset is testing out this particular part of the video as the hook at the very beginning of the video. I've noticed that a lot of times, especially when working with fashion brands, that including a human in the actual shot at the beginning tends to perform better. Another call out I just wanted to say about this brand as I was looking through their ad library, I thought it was super solid. They had tons of variety. There was lots of different types of user-generated content. They had tons of branded, polished content as well. So I think they're in a really good place overall, but there are just like a few minor nitpicky things that I would do at the UGC. But, you know, that's just me. Next up is actually a brand that targeted me today, and it was Feels, the CBD company. Now, the reason why this ad stuck out to me is because I actually recognized this ad. Now, I've definitely heard of this brand before. When I was working at a previous agency, I actually worked with a few CBD companies, and Feels was a brand that I looked a lot to for landing page and website inspiration. And as a part of my research, of course, I looked at their ad library. And one of the things that they did about a year ago is they did a super simple asset that I think was actually created by the Quality Edit for them. And I imagine that worked well because they essentially recreated that exact same ad in this new version. So I was kind of excited to see that come back up again. And that is it. If you guys like this video, please let me know in the comments below because I actually had a lot of fun doing this. To be honest, I spend a lot of my time at work analyzing different creatives and drawing up new creative strategy, which involves doing tons of research like this. So I would love to do more videos like this for you guys in the future, but only if you're gonna enjoy. Additionally, I also wanted to say a huge thank you to this growing community. June 1st was actually my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. And I just wanted to say a massive thank you for watching my videos, subscribing to my channel, and always starting amazing conversations in the comments section. I feel incredibly lucky for how much progress we made this year. And I'm really excited to continue to invest in this platform, test out new video ideas, and of course, invite new guests onto the channel. And if you've made it this far throughout all of my rambling, thank you so much. You are the reason why I create these videos. Thanks, guys. Bye.